is up? Hey, everybody, what is up? This is Katrina from In Cat We Trust, and I am back with a guest who's been on my podcast now twice, Korey Konstantine. How are you today?
Ooh, I'm cooking, man. It's like 105 in Texas today.
Oh,
Like it
jeez.
feels like I'm 115. So yeah.
Oh my God. It's like 94 in New York, and I'm dying. So I can't even imagine what that feels like. Hopefully you get some relief from the heat soon. I've been hearing it's been really bad over there.
Yeah.
So the last time I think I had you on, we talked about the Dark Knight, but we'll get into the Batman talk a bit later. So what's been going on with you? I know you had a title recently. How was that experience winning the title and everything?
Oh, I'm just gonna go with the bad news first, aren't we? Okay. Put me on the spot. Yeah. So had a good little run there with the Pro Wrestling 225 title. I think I won it back in March of 2022, something like that. So a little over a year on this run, 2 combined reigns, over 900 days. I made sure to let everybody know every single time that I went out to the ring was part of my ring introduction. Just really, really hamming it up on that. So that was pretty good, a good little story. We're still running with it. Just shot like kind of another bit of an angle down in Louisiana this past weekend. So things are probably going to escalate here pretty quickly.
Okay, that's super. I didn't realize you had it that long. I don't know why I thought it was maybe a few months ago. I didn't realize it was that long. That's crazy. So how was that experience? I guess did you change your gimmick a bit when you started doing I was a 900-day champion? Did that change much from what you were doing previously?
Yeah. So as you know, did like the face paint thing since probably 2016. And then finally pretty much completely got away from that back in October of last year. And there was a whole little presentation kind of thing, right? So I was with the manager, and she made it kind of seem like she was everybody was hating her, didn't like her. Kind of centered it around a cheating kind of situation where low blow, where she'd kind of sneak in, and I would either not be aware of it or I would stop her. And then in October, kind of paid it all off, right? Just here, she slides in, I stop her, I'm like, no, that's enough of this, get out of here. So she takes off out the ring, I turn around and bang, after the love bug right there, and just a hush falls over the 300, 400 that were there. They couldn't quite believe exactly what they just saw. And so ended up winning that and completing the alliance there, and then from there, just a whole complete character change. I'm kind of borrowed from somebody who's on TV every Wednesday. He was a big name in Japan, so I kind of borrowed from his ring entrance a little bit, and that cadence as well. Just throw in a whole bunch of self-absorbed facts and things like that where the stuff to really play it up.
Nice. So I need to know. You said Wednesday from Japan. So who did you bring in some of that from? Because New Japan is definitely some of my
yeah. So he's been in AEW for a while. He's a lot of people's favorite. It's Kickin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
So if you remember when Justin Roberts would kind of do his introduction and be like, yeah. So I started doing that. Instead of North Carolina, I would do Louisiana, but it was usually something derogatory towards Louisiana. A lot of fun with it.
Okay, cool. So how do you think the fans reacted to this character change from the previous one where it was a little bit different?
Exactly how I hoped. They really, really, really don't like the lady I'm affiliated with. Really don't like her. So I don't know exactly why. She hasn't really cut any promos. She's never really acted any kind of certain way. It's just kind of like the day she showed up. I guess it was almost close to 2 years ago, and they just were on her case immediately. And I have no idea why, but it's great news for me. It makes my job a lot easier. So no, but they're not a fan of me at all anymore. I was absolutely beloved to the point where a lot of times when it would be going into the main event time, the opponent would already be in the ring and they'd already be chanting my name before my music even starts. We have completely gone away from that in the opposite direction.
Oh man, I mean, I feel like that's not that it's good that they don't like it, but I do think that you to have a reaction, I guess, to that point is always a good thing.
I love that they don't like me. There's been a lot of things that I want to do that I haven't been allowed to do. My goal is absolutely to lean into all the heat possible. I've gone on record to say that I would be honored if somebody slashed my tires at least once. So that's where I'm shooting for.
Oh, you want that major heat.
Yeah.
So you said you are aligned with this person. Do you see yourself aligning with somebody else? Could this be a whole new like stable thing happening, or it's just you and her for the moment?
For the moment with this promotion, it's just she and I. Obviously, other promotions have their own stories, and however they want to align it with that is fine. I guess this would be probably the third or fourth person that I've been aligned with in various promotions. All working heel, actually, come to think of it, and all different women. So there could be something there that we could use.
Okay, that sounds super interesting. And so, have you done any new promotions since the last time we chatted? Have you debuted in any new any new promotions, or done something a little bit different from the last time we chatted?
I'm trying to remember the last time. Did I talk to you before or after Mania last time?
I feel like it might have been before Mania.
Okay.
I think it was
there's
before.
Definitely been some more since then. A few in the Texas area. I was supposed to debut for one in Indiana. What happened with that is I'm stupid and I didn't pay attention to which flight I actually booked. So I booked the flight for the wrong date, and thus I did not make the show and did not get it reimbursed at all. So that happened once. It happens. I started off the search the right way, and I guess by the time I clicked all the way through it, refreshed and gave me something else, and I just didn't pay attention. But no, I've worked a handful of other promotions since then. A few festivals, which that crowd is tremendous because they're just very casual fans. So a lot of easier things work. I've said some terrible things in New Orleans, Louisiana. That justifiably got me some heat. Similar and related to your name. So
yeah, I still definitely hear those references to the hurricane. So I'm now curious of what you said though that got them a little upset.
I was encouraging round two.
Yep, definitely can see how that would have brought some heat to you. Yeah. Have there been any wrestlers since the last time we talked that she was able to team up with, or people you're still looking to work with in the future that you haven't had a chance to work with yet?
Oh man, not particularly. I mean, I guess yes. If you were watching Raw around the time of Backlash, I got a decent amount of screen time with that, interacting with a certain Nightmare of the American variety. So that was neat. We had two big segments with that, and Brock is unrealistically enormous. Like, he looks big on TV, and then you see him in person, and you're like, "Oh shit!" Next level. So that was pretty cool to do. Nothing as far as actually in ring that I can specifically recall. But at the end of August, I will start training at Dustin Rhodes Academy. So I'll be doing that for the next 3 months, and hopefully that'll be opportunities.
Ah, nice. So you said it was cool to work with Cody Rhodes. I've heard good things about him. Well, I've heard good things about both of them. I feel like kayfabe wise, I always talk smack about both of them, but this is like like kayfabe. I'm usually talking a whole bunch of smack about their characters, but I've heard good things about them. And so, how did they give you any advice when you worked with them, or was it just one of those things where you just kind of had to get thrown in there?
So Brock, not so much. He's pretty much everything you hear about him is correct. He kind of does keep to himself. He is very, very polite. Not as much of an ego. Like he said, excuse me to a lot of us as we were like kind of waiting in Gorilla to do stuff. And I was like, oh wow. And he kind of cut a few jokes with us and stuff like that. Nothing but great things to say. Great interaction with him. Cody blew me away in the best way possible. Both times, but specifically the first time, he made sure to gather all of us around after he was done with the segment. Like literally called for all of us to come gather around him. He thanked us, from the bottom of his heart. Is like, hey, I know that this may only seem like an extra spot to you, but to me it means the world. You go out there and you make us look like superheroes. So thank you. And you offered kind of an open invitation if we're ever, in the Georgia area to go over to Nightmare Factory and do a training session and stuff like that. So nothing but great things to say. Absolutely class act. Exactly how he appears on TV. He's even more genuine in person.
Oh wow, that's super awesome. I've heard every time I've ever heard anybody mention Cody, I've always heard really good things. It's just me, kayfabe wise, I always have something to say. This is like a year's thing for me. So usually I mention it, I'm just like, and then I'll go in a little spew, but it's just because this has been what it is for me for like the last 5-6 years, when I usually just have to say something smart. But I've heard that he's actually a really nice guy, so it's nice to hear that, he was very gracious. It's always nice to hear when wrestlers are like that. So is it possible you may be, working again with him in the future?
Is it possible? I'm sorry?
That you may work again with him in the future, like
I would hope to. I've reached out to WWE regarding some upcoming dates towards the end of July. Haven't heard anything back as yet. Usually they fill up pretty quickly, but I just kind of keep checking regularly. So I'm on the radar. Because that's kind of what Regal tells us. If you're there, you're on the radar. So that's good news. It's not nothing.
That's true. That's super awesome. So I did, I guess, quickly away from wrestling, I did mention the whole reference, and we did talk about the Dark Knight series because that was very similar to the Joker was very similar to your gimmick. So how are we feeling about? I don't think we talked about Robert Pattinson's Batman, but also Michael Keaton kind of popping up in the Flash. I don't know if you've seen it yet. But what were your thoughts, I guess, as far as them bringing back that Batman, but also Robert's portrayal?
So I haven't seen The Flash yet. Honestly, I forgot it was already out. But I did see, 1 second. Flash, like I said, but I have seen the Batman, and I will say I was the biggest skeptic possibly going into it, and I was very pleasantly surprised with the way it all went down. I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. I think I actually went and saw it again. So I don't know what other better compliment you can do than pay money twice to see
it. Nice. And so because just, I guess, keeping on theme with the Batman movie, with the little clip of the Joker we got at the end of that, how did you feel about that, even though it was very small? And I was actually glad they didn't give us a whole villain, because I feel like we had so many Jokers in the last 20 years that I don't think we needed to really necessarily give us another one. But for the moment that he was on screen, what was your thoughts about him?
So I got really excited for one. It sounded good. It sounded promising. And I heard, and I think I watched, there was a deleted scene that involved him as well. And so I'm all in. I think that if you can kind of get the baseline of what Joker's supposed to be and not force it, like a certain rock star might have done, I think that it's a winning formula, right? It's been proven time and time again. But I think that I'm ready for the next one. I think that's a good compliment.
Definitely agree with you. With a certain somebody's Joker, he really irritated me as a Joker, honestly. But is there any villains you wouldn't mind seeing as his next major villain? I know he mentioned, I don't know if it was a joke because Robert Pattinson tends to make these weird jokes where he said he wanted to like go against Calendar Man or Condiment Man or something like that. And I was like, I don't know if he was serious about it, but who is somebody you wouldn't mind being like the next major villain for his Batman?
Have you watched the Harley Quinn series on HBO?
Yes.
Okay, so that made me really want to see more of Poison Ivy. Obviously, I don't know how intensive it can be as far as that being fully carrying the story, but I think that would be a good one. And now that I think about it, this is gonna sound weird considering the context of Batman and Robin, but I don't think Mr. Freeze has got enough attention. And I think it can be an easy narrative to play off of if you want to spread or at least a little bit of awareness when it comes to depending on how you feel about environmentalism and stuff like that. I saw a meme, I think it was maybe like a month ago or something, where it's like Mr. Freeze was trying to cool the planet and Poison Ivy was just trying to, bring back plants and stuff like that. And it's the billionaire prick that got in the way. It's like, didn't think about it that way, but yeah.
I've seen that meme. I guess when you look at it that way, it definitely does sound a lot better.
So I think I don't think that those two have gotten near enough mainstream. Like we've gotten a couple of Penguins. Like I don't even think. Correct me if I'm wrong because I didn't watch all the way through it. But Gotham, I don't think we really touched on a Poison Ivy there or Mr. Freeze there. We got another Joker. We got another Penguin, obviously. I feel like I'm missing another movie. But we just got Riddler, right, and Batman. So I think it's time for those other two. We got a Bane with Dark Knight. Let's go back and pull somebody else out.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I wouldn't mind seeing Mr. Freeze. He's somebody we didn't get too much in live action in general. I feel like even with like shows and stuff, he's one
like, I think that might be too much CGI. I don't know. They're trying to pull, but it would be nice to see something. So I'm trying to pull this volume up.
So, what are your thoughts? I guess keeping it in the comic theme, but like, what are your thoughts on the whole DCU's like Ben Affleck Batman, and now kind of like once again kind of resetting, I guess, the Flash? I haven't seen it yet either. I did hear Michael Keaton was good, and he's one of my top Batmans, and so I was like, I will watch it eventually. I just had some feelings about Israel. I said, I'm not sure, like, do I support this? Like, do I, but I do want to see what he does because he is one of my favorite Batmans. So, what were, I guess, of your thoughts on kind of trying to now reset it all over again, even though we still kind of have this other Batman world kind of still happening at the same time?
So, I feel like this could apply to anything. Everything gets rebooted, and I was talking to my friend the other day. There's another thing that's coming out, and I can't remember for the life of me what it is. But it's another reboot. It's not pertaining to any kind of comic book, something or other. But I want to say we just did it less than 20 years ago. And why are we doing it again? I really want to see full continuity beyond threes. Like we got the Tobey Maguire, and then we reset, which is good. That's all I can say about that. And then we got Mr. Garfield, and that reset. Then Tom Holland was in, and he was out, and now he's back in, thankfully. So hopefully we get another one. I'm very excited, given what I saw at the end of Venom 2, for what could possibly be next with that. So I'm really hoping because that's my favorite dynamic when it comes to Spider-Man and Venom. But going back to Batman, it feels like to me we're playing a little bit with the multiverse like we're already doing in Marvel. So I would just hope that they're a little bit wary of
that. I agree. I'm hoping too. Like Marvel has done well enough with the multiverse. I feel I really did enjoy No Way Home. but Tom Holland's my favorite Spider-Man. I love Toby, but I feel like Tom for me just reminds me of what I watched growing up. So
I never bought into that. I couldn't. It's like, this is clearly a 35-year-old guy trying to play 16. Like, can we not? Can we not? And then emo Peter's like, ugh, so cringe. And then the Venom in that one was so disappointing. We don't talk about Spider-Man.
Definitely, because Venom is my favorite Spider-Man villain as well. And so I was highly upset with Spider-Man 3 because I'm like, what is this? Like, he looks nothing like what you expect Venom to be. And so, yeah, definitely feel you on that one. But I do like Tom.
And while we're on that subject of not looking like it's supposed to, I know it's been probably over 10 years and I should have let it go by now, but I'm still mad about the Tom Hardy Bane situation. Not nearly big enough. Sorry. Bane is supposed to be like 12 feet tall and like 800 pounds of muscle. And he's like 5'6". He's shorter than Batman. It's like, what's happening?
I agree with you there as well. I mean, I thought he was good enough, but height-wise, I was like,
character-wise was tremendous. It's just
visually
shoot it slightly differently, give him some extra lifts in his boots, give him another 6 months to put on another 10 to 15 pounds. I don't know. Something.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with you there. I definitely think they could have maybe did England, kind of what they do with Hugh Jackman and Wolverine. I feel like because he's kind of tall, so they usually angle it so it doesn't look too crazy.
Never knew that. Yeah. Speaking of Hugh Jackman, we get Yellow Suit finally. That's exciting.
Yes, he's my favorite X-Men, so I was like, yes. I thought he was done. I'm not gonna lie, I did because the whole Logan, and I loved Logan. I was really sad. I haven't watched it again because it made me sad. I was like, I can't rewatch that. But I was like, he's coming back. I was like, I did always want a correctly done with him and Ryan Reynolds. Just because let's get that dynamic. They clearly have like that relationship already to have it done correctly. And so to see the yellow, I was like, yes, about time. I've been waiting like 20 years for this.
Right. It's always been like the black and silver suit or something. I'm like, this is not Wolverine. Give me the yellow suit.
So I mean, it's kind of disappointing that they already spoiled that for us, but it also makes me very happy because I'm hoping.
Oh no, that didn't spoil that at all. I guess just a picture, and I'm all in. I'm even more excited now.
I mean, I am. I just, social media tells everything. And I'm like, oh, God, sometimes don't see everything. But I am happy that he's going to be.
Is there a full trailer that came out? I've only seen the picture of them two like next to each other.
I did see some other pictures earlier, actually, where they were showing some fight sequences. And I'm like, no, don't post this. Like, can we save that? Like, the picture of him.
I'm going to steer away.
Yeah, I kind of had to mute some things so I wouldn't see anymore. Because I'm like, Jesus, like, don't show me everything. I'm glad he's in the suit. I'm going to be happy if the X-Men that pops back up like they're saying they're supposed to, just to kind of get a little bit of that with Ryan Reynolds. I wouldn't mind, but about time, 20 years. And he's the only Wolverine we have. So speaking of like rebooting with like Batman and Spider-Man rebooting and Superman once again.
Right? I mean, I read something today and it's like, oh, this is the only character that he's been cast in. I'm like, good. Like, we don't need new ones every 5 years to 10 years.
Definitely agree with you. Like I said, I love Wolverine, my favorite X-Men, one of my favorite X-Men, and so I'm hyped for this. Hope it's done well. They do what they need to do properly and everything.
But Deadpool has been great. I've never really read the comics, but I've been massively entertained every single time.
I definitely think it's like Ryan Rhodes does it justice. Oh, yeah. And so it makes it good that it's like he's literally like this on a regular basis, it seems. So it's not too far of a stretch of his acting. But I'm excited for it. I can't wait for it just because, everything else in the comic book world seems all off with all this rebooting again. And then whatever they're doing with Marvel now, since after Endgame, it's been different. Not that it's been bad, but I guess because you get used to having all of those for so long, and then Endgame happens. Oh, look at her. So cute. Hey. Oh, it's so cute.
A lot of the time. Hi, Energy.
Hi. Oh my God, so cute. So, I guess let's probably my last question, since you seem, with your dog, and that's great. Just bring it back to wrestling.
Yeah.
What is your plans, I guess, and goals for the rest of, because we're like halfway through 2023, as crazy as that seems. What is like the rest of your goals and like things you want to finish off with for 2023?
So the timing with going to this school is pretty much gonna take me out for the rest of the year for the most part. A lot of shows will kind of start winding down when it comes to November, December. So I don't think as of right now, I don't have anything planned beyond August 13th because the school is going to be Friday to Sunday with some Mondays from like 5 to 9 p.m. So that kind of eliminates all your show times. I don't have a lot on the docket in that regard. I've got this one story that we've been telling for a while that I'll be tying up. We haven't figured out exactly the stipulation for it yet, but I'm anticipating it being the end of Korey Konstantine. At least kind of the way I have it kind of figured out in my head on how I would like to one of those last individuals to be. So I don't have a lot in that regard. I think the camp ends like mid-November, so might get a handful of dates beyond that. I want to start out the next year hot. One of my bigger goals for the year was to wrestle like East Coast, West Coast, but like I said, kind of takes me out of that unless I start trying to arrange that now. Maybe getting it towards the tail end of the year. If not, I'd like to start off, like I said, the next year somewhere I haven't been yet. Like this past year, wrestling in England was like my first show of the year, technically of the year. So something international would be exciting. But I'm also more than open to taking the East Coast, West Coast. Try to start getting around. Haven't hit Chicago yet, so somewhere in the Midwest would be great as well. Those are my bigger goals.
Okay.
Anything, obviously, with the major promotion would be exciting. Still trying to kind of sort all of that out as far as like, I have the general contacts or whatever when it comes to WWE, AEW. Haven't quite cracked the code. The other ones as far as NWA and non-WWE Impact. So, but I've been watching more Impact, and I could definitely see that being a great place to land. Especially they have a really big viewership when it comes to like Europe and stuff like that. So I think that would also give you a better opportunity for some more international.
I definitely could see you in Impact, actually. Not that it wouldn't be cool, obviously, if you'd be like WWE, because that'd be great. But I definitely do feel like you would fit Impact. And they've been they've been good for some time, but I feel like they've really been on it the last year or so, just showcasing what they have over there. So I definitely could see that. Or maybe you could be in New York. That's where I'm at. But if there at some point in
if you know people in New York, I'm trying to get to New York. Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna see who I can ask. Just like, dude, bring people in. One of the people I work for, he always tries to get different people. Also, I'll just see, like, dude, just look at his stuff. Bring it all in, New York, New Jersey. I think that'd be cool. That would definitely be super awesome. But you tell everybody where they can find you.
So most of my stuff is pretty straightforward. Sorry, I have another dog who's about to knock over my camera. This is speaking of Harley Quinn. This is Harley Quinn.
Oh, I love that.
So you can find me at Korey Konstantine on Instagram. Konstantine225 on social media, Twitter. So that's also my Venmo and my Cash App, but whatever. And then Pro Wrestling Tee/Konstantine, which is where you can find me on all that. And then Facebook, Korey Konstantine, just like it says right there on the name. And that's everything for there. When it comes to dates, we have the 21st will be Texoma Pro. That's in Texas. I can't remember the name of it. Sherman, Texas. And then let's see, from there, where do I go next? Then we have Pro Wrestling 225. That'll be in Denham Springs, Louisiana. That's going to be in game. I'll be in a mixed tag. It'll be myself and Cody King versus Christian Blake and Devlin McCobb. And then from there, I believe I am going to the beach. So if you find me on Gulf Shores Beach, I'll be there following weekend. And then after that, I will be August 12th. Will be in Morgan City or New Iberia, Louisiana. That will be versus Christian Blake in a match with stipulation to be determined. But I assume it may be a ladder match, a quick match, 2 out of 3 falls, something on the more extreme end. And then the following day, I will be in the Fort Worth area, I believe, working with VIP. So then I will be done because I start Dustin's Academy on the 26th through November 14th.
Nice. Sounds fun and like busy, but good busy, not where you're doing what you need to do. But I will have all of the links in the description as always. And Korey, again, thank you for coming on. It's always nice chatting with you. It's been a little minute, but I am glad you decided to come back on.
Absolutely, anytime.